Hi everyone, and thanks very much to Maya Rose for inviting me to contribute to the conference. My name's Stephen Moss. I'm a naturalist, I'm an author, and I'm very passionate about getting everyone, whatever age, whatever background, into nature and wildlife. And 7 years ago I wrote this report called Natural Childhood for the National Trust. And that dealt with a lot of issues, a lot of barriers facing young people, children and young people, really stopping them getting into nature. Things have improved a lot since then. A lot of young people are getting out and involved in nature, but of course, as you know, there are still many barriers left, and particularly I think to visible minority ethnic young people and children. Now, playing devil's advocate, you could argue, why do people need to get involved in nature? Why do they need to go out and enjoy it? Can't they live without it? Well, actually, anyone who knows about nature, which I know all of you attending the conference do, know how important it is to have nature and wildlife and just being outdoors into young people's lives. And there's still real barriers to stop that, which I know you'll be discussing at the conference this week. It matters not just to individuals to get out and be involved in nature, it matters a huge amount to society as a whole, that we have healthy young people who are engaged with the environment, engage with the natural world, engage with conservation, and obviously that's particularly important at the moment. Last Friday I went with my daughter and some of her friends to the climate strike in Bristol, and it was a fantastic day. It was an amazingly uplifting day. I actually missed Maya Rose there, but I saw her mum and many other people I knew, and it was just fantastic being together with all these people with a common cause. And there was diversity there. It was more diverse than a lot of gatherings of people involved in nature. But again, I think a lot of people probably felt they couldn't go. Access is always an issue, and there's more subtle barriers that stop people joining, things like that. But for me, it was incredibly uplifting, and I think that what is changing in nature is that people are now fighting to get everyone involved. The old days when I grew up, when really it was just basically older men really involved in nature. Even as a younger man, as a child, a young man, I found it very difficult. It was very hard to get involved even in bird watching, as it was called at the time, because people were really quite hostile, or if they weren't directly hostile, they just weren't particularly friendly and welcoming. And I hope that has changed, and I think it has. So what I would say is, keep fighting for it. I think what's happening with organisations like Equality in Nature is that you're dealing with these things head on. You're confronting the issues and you're speaking up, and people are going to have to listen, just as they listen to Greta Thunberg on climate change. I think young people now have a voice, and now you really just need to keep using it. So I wish you every success with the conference and with the future. And I'd just like to thank you and particularly Maya Rose, for raising this issue, for getting involved, and for starting at least to have this conversation and sort things out. So thank you very much.